You've got common fields that are repulsive blanks. You don't know why the payment was made. And then we've got this truly it's a do not pay list, which can take up to a year before an organization to get on the do not pay list. And this, we're talking about terrorist organizations. We're talking about known fraudsters, known aspects of waste, known things that do not match any congressional appropriation. It can take up to a year to get on the list, and even once on the list is not used. It's mind-blowing.
Maybe go on the take with that. David's in Texas. Hey, David, good morning.
Hey, good morning. How are you doing today?
Good, man. What's on your mind?
Good. Hey, with the USA, as we all know, it's a massive money laundering scheme. And the money always seems to come back to the politicians and to fund their campaigns. And it's no wonder we can't beat the Democrats, because their biggest campaign contributions are basically the American taxpayer. And I've always kind of wondered why, like, Planned Parenthood, would get $100 billion from the government, but donate money to Democrat senators or representatives. So it's how do you beat that system?
Yeah, that's right. The game was so
that well funded.
The game was so rigged. Softly rigged. But it's over now. And anything that's in the power of the executive branch to do, there's nothing that will stop these guys. The roadblock is the House. We'll talk to Thomas Massey about that next month. My Bernie Sanders report.
The Will Count Majority.
Coming up right after the David Webb Show, meeting Chrissy Mayer, whose new comedy album is called Live from January 6th. Join me in studio right after Webb.
The Will Count Majority coming up next at noon East after the David Webb Show on SiriusXM Patriot.
If an emergency happened tomorrow, would you truly be prepared? Most Americans aren't. My Patriot Supply, America's most trusted name in emergency preparedness, is offering a special discount on their Mega 3-month emergency food kit. Each kit provides over 250 calories daily for 90 days. These aren't typical survival rations. My Patriot Supply provides delicious meals and extras, including chicken, beef, real meat, fruits, and veggies. Being prepared is a state of mind. Go to mypatriotsupply.com and take advantage of this $250 discount to secure your family's future now. If you order by 3 p.m., your order will ship within the same day, so you'll be prepared in no time. That's mypatriotsupply.com. mypatriotsupply.com.
Start the year right and do something to protect your hard-earned money. Major financial companies like JP Morgan and Goldman Sachs are very bullish on gold at 35% from 1 year ago and over 75% in the past 3 years. And gold has outperformed the stock market. The numbers don't lie. So how do you get started with precious metals like gold and silver? Call the experts at Epic Gold for a free info kit at 800-598-9938, 800-598-9938, or visit epicgold.com. That's EPIQgold.com. With Epic Gold, you can now invest in a self-directed IRA that includes gold and silver. It's tax-deductible and penalty-free. Get a free info kit and automatically be registered to win a 3 gold coin set valued at over $5,000. No purchase necessary. To learn more, go to epicgold.com. That's EPIQgold.com. epicgold.com.
An important message about your timeshare from Chuck McDowell, founder of Wesley Financial Group.
If you receive an unsolicited phone call or message to discuss selling, renting, or especially canceling your timeshare, don't fall for it. Contact your timeshare resort or Wesley Financial Group for assistance, and I'll send you our timeshare exit information kit free with the straight facts about timeshare.
800-978-1515. 800-978-1515.
Economic opportunity.
Moral order. Conservative principles live here. We are SiriusXM Patriot, Channel 125. SiriusXM Patriot presents Breitbart News Daily with your host, Mike Slater.
Congressman Thomas Massey is here. Congressman, how are you, sir? Congressman, can you hear me, sir?
I can hear you.
There we go. How you doing, sir?
Great. It's snowing here, but we're okay.
Nice. I'm sure you experienced this, so help me work through this. We spent the first 2 hours of the show talking about Doge and just Elon and Trump just crushing it, kicking butt. It's unbelievable. And then we'll talk to a congressman, and it's just like, it's like everything comes screeching to a halt.
Shit.
I guess we can't do anything now anymore. How frustrated are you at the state of your house right now compared to everything Doge is doing?
Well, there's a solution. I am frustrated for sure, but there's a solution here. We just got to take all the stuff they found in Doge and put it in reconciliation. That's this big bill we're working on.
What's the hesitation of doing that?
What's that?
What's the hesitation of that? Who's against it?
Oh, because most of my colleagues aren't serious about cutting spending. That's the problem.
How do we get them? So we hear it all the time that, we can't cut this because, or we can't put in a bill because we need 60 votes or whatever. But reconciliation, you don't need 60 votes, you need 50. And we hear people say, well, Doge can't do anything. They
Morning,
can just make
Dirty.
recommendations. But you're saying, all right, well, let's just take the recommendations and put it in reconciliation right now. So why not?
Correct. So what's happening now is you see that all the things that Doge and Trump are trying to do by executive order, or just by naming and shaming, are getting held up by judges. And yeah, I would love to impeach those judges for this. And Mike Lee and I are talking about how you limit their jurisdiction to a law. But impeachment takes 67 votes in the Senate, so that ain't going to happen. Yeah, to get a positive change to the judicial system implemented takes 60 votes in the Senate. So that's probably not going to happen either. But there is this bill called reconciliation, which frankly is what's consuming all of Congress right now. We're naming post offices and doing things that aren't quite consequential outwardly, but inwardly behind the scenes, there's this big debate going on about reconciliation, because this is the one bill that we have that can pass the Senate with 51 votes. And it's probably going to be the most important bill.
Let's get some gravy this morning.
It's going to have the tax cuts, and it's going to have border security in it, which is going to make it really hard for any Republican to vote against. Those of us who are saying, well, you need to cut spending in this bill also. If you're going to cut taxes, you got to cut spending too. Well, the problem, they're hoping to roll those of us who want to cut spending. Just, be quiet, stay in the back. We'll cut a little bit of spending, and because this has got the wall in it, because it's got tax cuts, we know the public pressure on you is going to be so great you're going to have to vote for it. So just be quiet and quit asking for spending cuts. That's kind of where we are right now in the House behind the scenes.
Interesting. Okay, I see this happening, of course. So you're going to be the bad guy because you're the one who actually wants to cut the spending.
Right.
How much spending are you talking about versus how much are they talking about? And I guess the other question is, how much shame needs still be applied from Doge and the American people to get the Congress people to do the right thing?
Well, some of the stuff that Doge wants to ferret out is just common sense. And like the USAID waste and whatnot, but that's not going to balance the budget. We've got to make some big cuts to balance the budget. I don't want to mislead you. This is not going to be easy, and they don't really call them spending cuts. Even what they're doing, they're saying that these changes, like let's say work requirements for able-bodied single individuals who receive government assistance, that's common sense. It's not really a cut to say that we're going to have work requirements, but it will end up saving tens, maybe hundreds of billions of dollars if you just put work requirements in there, because fewer people are going to apply for it if they're able-bodied. They may just go get a job because they find out it's easier. So we need, here's another thing that's happening. This frustrates me. They give you the cost of the tax cuts in terms of revenue over 5 years, but they brag on the savings of the spending cuts over 10 years. They're using two different denominators up here. So they'll say, yeah, the tax cuts will cost us $3 trillion in revenue, but we're going to save $3 trillion in spending cuts and in growth.
Well, the problem is the spending cuts and the growth they're measuring over 10 years, and the growth is very optimistic.
Yes. I guess I get frustrated at this. Like, we need to balance, right? Everyone needs to balance. All right, let me back up. So we had Chip Roy on yesterday.
He's
And-
great on this.
Right. So he's okay. So then we had Mark Wayne Mullen on today, right? And he said, "Well, Chip wants to raise corporate taxes." Now I don't know what Chip's taking. This is like this desire to balance, but everyone's trying to balance on the edges here. It seems, from my perspective, as opposed to just huge cuts. Like, that's clearly and obviously the only way to truly balance is massive cuts. But instead, it's like, we'll cut a little bit here, and we'll raise taxes a little bit here, and then we get the salt over here, and that evens out because we'll raise, we'll create this new little tax over here. It's like, oh man, guys, I'm not even close. Where am I wrong?
Well, let me defend Chip Roy, and I like Mark Wayne Mullen too. He's in the Senate, but what Mark Wayne Mullen said is the exact kind of attack they're going to use against me and Chip Roy. It's a talking point. Look, the original Trump tax cuts had corporate tax cuts in them, and they lasted 5 years, and those are about to expire. And that's one of the things that's in the reconciliation bill that would be renewing those corporate tax cuts. So if the reconciliation bill doesn't pass, this is policy that was put into law under the original Trump administration. They scheduled the corporate tax rates to go up 5 years from when they passed it. It was a budgeting gimmick back then.
Yes, I'm using that.
So if reconciliation doesn't pass, it is true that corporate tax rates go up. And so people will try to blame Chip Roy and
Mobile order LH75 for North.
That's what he meant? Because there's no way that Chip wants to raise corporate income tax. That's ridiculous.
Chip doesn't want to raise a single tax, and I don't either.
That's not me.
But they're saying if you guys take a stand and reconciliation doesn't pass, then therefore you are in support of raise. Oh, come on, that's almost so shady. I almost can't believe Mark Wayne Mullen didn't do that.
No, I saw that pop up, and I was like,
oh, you have
Norm, gravy. Biscuits with
Right. Okay. He could be on here and defend his position, but I do think it's not the story, and I do think it does a disservice to your listeners not to at least
gotta have my biscuits and gravy.
For him not to at least explain what he means.
A little treat for getting better, dude. I was so feeling like crap Monday night.
We'll go back up.
Fucking sweating so bad that my bed was soaked. So I got pissed to bed. It was so bad.
Constraints. They only did the tax cuts for 5 years. They would have made them permanent if they could, but it just, they call it cost.
Parking people
It just costs too
keep
much
the lane
in terms
moving.
of revenue and how much it would have blown our deficit. So now they're trying, that's what the reconciliation bill will do. It will renew the corporate tax cuts.
I told every congressman out here that is such a lame. Like no one in Breitbart land. Say that no one in Breitbart land is going to pat any congressman in the back for continuing the current tax rates. Right? Like that doesn't do us any. I'm not happy about that. That's like the example I give is I told my son to take out the trash and he took the trash out. Thanks, guys. Like, I'm not gonna
Yeah, I worked a little bit from home yesterday.
Right. So if you cut taxes, then you can have a conversation.
But that's the least of the attacks that will be used against the deficit costs like me and Chip Roy. The other one you can use, which
y'all can wait. I got my food. That's why we do the mobile order.
Chip's not for border security, because this reconciliation bill will have tens of billions of dollars.
I had my order in before I crossed the railroad tracks.
And every ad that will ever be run will, in Chip Roy's district or mine, if we don't vote for reconciliation, is they voted against Trump's wall. And when in reality, this is one of those giant bills that's got border security, it's got a renewal of the tax cuts, and it's got some spending cuts, but the spending cuts are like a Band-Aid on a huge wound that's bleeding out.
Can you give me some good? None of that will fall. We won't fall for any of that. Just so okay, we'll make sure other people don't, because that's ridiculous. Can you give me some good news out of the House?
Some good news out of the House.
It took too long already.
Well, no. I do think that. Well, first I got to give you some bad news.
Okay. All right.
Okay. There's an omnibus bill. Every year I've been here, people pay attention to the omnibus bill. This year, everybody's forgotten about it. It's like a blind spot. Nobody can see it. It's coming up in March, and it is going to fund. I'm going to predict it's going to fund USAID. And Mike Johnson will come out and say, "Well, guys, we've got to avoid a government shutdown. It would just look really bad on Trump's watch, and the Democrats are itching for a fight. So we've got to put all of their priorities in this omnibus bill, too, so that they will vote for it."
But they don't need to vote for it. Why do they need to vote for it?
Because it's going to be so horrible in terms of the things that it funds.
That you won't vote for it.
That we won't vote for it. In fact, typically, no, but they could make a conservative version that we will vote for.
But will the congressman from, New York vote for it? The Republican congressman.
To get too conservative, they won't. Okay, so that's the bad news. They could do a conservative version. I have voted for conservative spending bills before, and now I get attacked for those. Like, for instance, last year we had a standalone, one of the 12 separate bills, like you're supposed to do, standalone. We had a standalone bill for the State Department that cut USAID by like 12% or something. I voted for that, and no Democrat voted for it, but I voted for it. And it never became law. We'd be much better off if it had. Instead, they got like a 12% increase to USAID because Mike Johnson went with the Democrats instead of the conservatives to get that bill passed. But today, now they say, "Oh, Congressman Massey voted to fund USAID." This is the danger that we get when folks like Chaboy and I vote for a conservative version of the spending bill. But we'll try it. We keep trying it every time, and then they at the last minute, they quit working with us and they go with all the Democrats. Here's the good news. You asked me for solutions. The president, after he gets stymied by all these judges and all these legal scholars and whatever, he can ask to cut the budget, unobligated spending. Let's say it's the money that Congress has appropriated but hasn't been obligated yet, which there's oftentimes lots of that money over there. The president can ask us to take it back, to rescind it. And if he makes that request, within a certain number of days, we vote on it. And that can pass, I believe it can pass the Senate with 51 votes, like the reconciliation bill. Or we could put those rescissions in the reconciliation bill. There's some debate over how you do that. Either way, that's the good news, is that there is an expedited process in the House and the Senate for taking back that money that the president doesn't want to spend.
This is kind of like empowerment, but
yes.
Congress.
Yes, it's part of this whole process was laid out in that impoundment law they passed, I think, in '74 when they were trying to show Nixon who was boss.
To that, or what good is? Why would the House go for that?
Because they never do the right thing up front. I'm telling you, we get a second chance. So there's going to be an argument here in Congress. Get ready for this one. That will pass an omnibus bill that's got all the crap in it that Doge said don't put in it, and that the president tried to retract. They'll say we need to pass this omnibus bill with all that in it, or else the Democrats won't vote for it. Then they're going to try to take it. There's a chance we could take some of that back using rescission. It could work, I guess. You asked me for something hopeful.
Yeah, that's a stretch.
And I know I'm deep in the weeds of procedure here.
No, that's good.
But these are the things we're
One of them electric
like,
Mustangs.
breaking our picks on a rock.
If the hopefulness is like a last-ditch escape hatch that hasn't been used ever, it's like, oh, jeez. We got about 2 minutes, but tell me that your bill.
Morning, Brandon.
Let me read the whole thing. I don't know if we have time for it.
15 minutes left to the drive.
H.R. 899, we'll start from the beginning. Be it enacted by the Senate and House of Representatives of the United States of America and Congress Assembly. Section 1. Termination of the Department of Education. The Department of Education shall terminate on December 31st, 2026. And on page 2.
That's the whole bill. That's it.
No, it didn't load. Right? It didn't load enough. There's gotta be a glitch.
No.
How can this
No.
not pass?
It's not just one page, it's one sentence. If you read it, thank you.
When-
My colleagues won't read bills.
Even this one. We got 1 minute. What are the chances of this passing in light of Doge and everything they're doing in the DOE?
Well, I forced a vote on this a year or two ago. It got 161 votes in the House. But with President Trump telling my colleagues, those 50 or 60 Republicans who didn't vote for it, they should vote for it, there's a good chance it could pass. And procedurally, he's going to be doing some things that sort of divest or divert a lot of those functions at the Department of Education anyway. We don't need a national school board. It's 4,000 bureaucrats who do nothing. They make an average of $100,000 a year, and they cause local school boards to have to do all of this paperwork. It's not even worth the 10% of education funding they receive from the federal government.
Okay, but that's a good point. If Doge can empty it out first, it'll be even easier to get rid of and pass your bill. Rep Thomas Massie, M-A-S-S-I-E, on the Twitter. Congressman, keep it up. We're here for you.
Thanks for having me.
Appreciate it. Slater at Breitbart.com is my email. My Slater, Breitbart. Mr. Taylor, spell the word.
Yeah, I heard about Karen M. last night. She passed away.
Well, don't lapse or surrender your policy.
Too bad.
You might be sitting on a gold mine. That's right.
Good people.
You may be able to sell all or part of your life insurance policy to Coventry for cash, or a combination of cash and coverage with no future premiums, even a term policy. Call Coventry Direct at 800-465-7600 or visit CoventryDirect.com to find out if you're sitting on a gold mine. That's 800.
That's too bad. I didn't even know she was ill. If anything was hopping in Toledo, I don't hear anything. Look at this guy, he's moving. Woo! We got an ice storm coming here tonight. That'll be fun. I'm gonna try and get my running around done right before it hits. Second one in a month. Snowing there. Yeah, it's supposed to start about 2 o'clock today. Yeah, we'll get over here. back to it. Radio.
Control with Garlic
No
Healthy
commercials.
Blood Pressure Formula. It works
course.
safely and naturally to help maintain healthy blood pressure with a custom blend of garlic, vitamins, and minerals. And it's odor-free. I'm taking charge with Garlic Healthy Blood Pressure Formula.
These statements are not been evaluated by the FDA. Described as not intended to diagnose, treat, cure, or prevent any disease. The term natural references only to garlic in the product. Use as directed.
The UN's Human Rights Office claims some 1,400 people may have been killed in Bangladesh during student-led demonstrations last summer against the now-ousted former Prime Minister.
The report accuses Sheikh Hasina's government of a brutal response to the protests, calculated to hang on to power in the face of mass opposition. The UN investigators documented the shooting at point-blank range of some protesters, the deliberate maiming of others, arbitrary arrests and torture. Children, too, were targeted. The report estimates up to 13% of the 1,400 people killed were children.
The BBC's Imogen Folks. Germany's outgoing government extending by 6 months the border checks it imposed on all of its frontiers last fall as it attempts to cut the number of migrants arriving in the country. It has become a big issue in the campaign for this month's national election. Breaking news, analysis, town hall.
Truth is the authority. All right, first thing, bring your A game because I'll take nothing less. We're going to have an open and honest discussion, but the facts matter. Let's talk about the people. It's common sense. It's principles and policies that work for everybody. I just want to talk about how to fix this country. The David Webb Show. Let's see. In a nutshell, 23 days of a Trump 2.0 administration. Dozens, not a dozen, not 2 dozen, more than that, significant moves, executive orders, action by Congress is next. As a matter of fact, the markup begins tomorrow. It was delayed from Tuesday, but the markup in the House begins tomorrow on the reconciliation package such as it is. And yes, there is a bit of a debate. Lindsey Graham favoring the Club of 100 slowdown version at 2 big beautiful bills rather than 1 big beautiful bill. And do you really have till August to wait for round 2? I think America does not. We're moving at the speed of Trump that way. 33 significant moves tracked by the Wall Street Journal in 23 days, and many more than that. The announcements, the executive orders, and of course, the absolute meltdown. And I do mean the meltdown of the left. And we get to hear it in song. So before I go to my in-studio guest, Brooks Sigmund, Fox News digital political correspondent and reporter, I have no other way to say this than I really want to apologize to my audience, but I want you to hear a little bit of the song, and thankfully no dance.
Which side are you on? Which side are you on? Tell me, which side are you on? Which side are you on?
Oh my God. This is real?
Against George, we'll fight Elon Musk. No Elon's kept within our walls. We'll fight from
real?
dawn to dusk.
Anthony's doing the We Are the World wave in the studio. Oh my God.
Trump's coming for our unions. He wants us all to fail. He wants us to bow to him. But we want him in jail.
Yeah, that one failed too. All right. Please, Brooks about to run out of the studio and just leave.
Wow.
I didn't tell you about that because I wanted to see your genuine reaction.
I'm like, I don't even know what to say. I'm like looking around the studio, like, where's that coming from? Who sang that? I didn't even hear that.
Oh my God. This is the collection of Democrats The names, there aren't. They're just all of them singing, hovering around each other.
Because the Department of Government Efficiency wants to help cut government spending and save the American taxpayer dollars, they wrote a song. It's a beautiful song. I don't know if that was like in a minor key.
Well, we just have the Grammys, right?
Right. I mean, they
So
could have.
They probably could have done this earlier.
What do we?
They might get some kind of an award. Really,
Yeah.
it's a different kind of meltdown because we've never. I don't know that we've ever broken into song before. But wow, I'm a classically trained opera singer, and I love singing. And I mean, like, I love to sing, love music.
Some
Didn't
people should
expect-
sing, not you, them.
Well, I just didn't expect, the Department of Government Efficiency and Elon Musk to really inspire song.
Well, maybe he's inspiring their creative outlets.
Exactly. That's it. Wow. What a way to start the day.
I bet you didn't think this was coming.
No, I did not.
No.
I did not. But I kind of like the song Catchy. Maybe it's on Spotify. Speaking of Spotify, just wanted to say, did you know that Anthony Blinken is a guitar player and has his own little band? He has a Spotify channel, Anthony Blinken, the former Secretary of State. Just wanted to bring that up. Maybe he will sponsor the new Democrat song about Doge.
You know what?
Just saying.
My bet on real music is John Roberts, who actually can shred.
Yeah, he can.
Speaking of a
He
guitar
can.
player, all right,
He
John can
totally
shred.
can.
So there you go. Wow, yeah, bro, that just
Wow, well, I guess we're done. And thank you for having me. And I think we should play the rest of the song for everybody.
Okay.
Wow.
Yeah. Anyway,
Wow.
so lots going on. Moving at the speed of Trump.
Yes.
That's what I'm titling today.
I think that's a nice way to title it, and it's true. We are moving at the speed of Trump. In the news business, we are trying to keep up every single day. But what he's doing is he's delivering on quite literally every single thing that he promised on the campaign trail, taken care of in his first 24 days in office. So it's really, it's fascinating to watch to see how quickly government can work.
All right, guys, gotta go.
Telling it to work. Right?
Got people already waiting for me here.
All these executive
Peace.
orders,
Love you guys.
all this
Hopefully I'll be on later.
Things are happening, and we're seeing the effects of it.